damned if you do and damned if you don't. If you're like most INFPs, empaths, highly sensitive people, that's how you feel when you have to make a decision. You feel stuck in a no-win situation. In this video, I'm going to share with you how to create your own get out of hell free card so you start breaking free from this hell of indecision. Hi, I'm T.S. Hall, the Stoic Medium, and I train old souls, empaths, and highly sensitive people, not to mention INFPs, to master their psychic and healing abilities, to learn the language of spirit, the language of vibrations, the language of energy. By so doing, you find spiritual solutions to life's problems. If this feels right, if it rings true, consider subscribing to our channel. We publish new information to help introverts every week, not to mention our weekly programs of spiritual content that we put out every Sunday. Again, welcome to our channel, and I hope you join the community. This is part 2 of our INFP Empath Training Series. In part 1, I ask you to take on an assignment, to consciously consider, before taking an action or not taking an action, the reasons for the action. So you became aware of what's going on within you before you take the actions that create your life. If you're like most INFPs, empaths, and highly sensitive people, that process sucked. That was a crappy assignment. And not only did it sucked big time. Because too many times when there's an action to take, it's a no-win situation. Regardless of the outcome, as a person who is sensitive, intuitive, and knowing, an empath, if you will, there's no way you can win to get what you want by taking that action. And that's where the get out of hell free card comes today. You know, every time you consider taking an action or don't take an action, karma gets created. Karma is simply cause and effect. And from a spiritual perspective, that's the great equalizer. Once you master karma, cause the outcomes and the effects you want on command, then life becomes very interesting. You start to get a sense that you can win this game you incarnated into, to create what you want, to find that fulfillment, that satisfaction, that sense of value within you that you crave so much. At least that's how it is for me. For you, it may be a little bit different, but nonetheless, I want you to win the game of life. And here are the spiritual tools, practices, and principles that will help you start doing that. The spiritual tools that will help you start winning the game of life, start breaking free from the fears that hold you back, to find win-win scenarios, if you will. There are 3 of them. The first is called the 3 R's. The 3 R's allow you start to find the second part, the 3 answers. And then the last aspect is so simple that most people want to make it more complicated than it needs to be. And we'll discuss that at the end of the video. The 3 R's are right meditation, right thought, and right action. For us, right meditation is stillness meditation. Right thought is creating the thinking needed that you come up with an actionable decision. An actionable decision that feels right, that rings true, informed by your intuition, not by your instinct to survive. And right action is actually doing what you've thought through and you know that feels right. The result of your actions, your outcome, are karma. Cause and effect, remember? So you take an action, you get a result, you get an outcome, and that outcome is either positive, what you want, good karma, or negative, not what you want, bad karma. Sometimes our decisions and thinking process is flawed, and our actions are not properly executed. But that's all part of the process, because remember, we're doing this from the context of seeing things as they really are, because we've done this work after we've touched stillness, after we've touched silence, after we've opened the spiritual eyes of our soul through our meditation to get present to our intuitive knowing. Now, not intuitive as in your instinct to survive personality type. No, intuitive as in connecting with the spirit part of you that will outlive this physical body, that has had many lifetimes, and can connect directly with your spirit guides and teachers. That's what I mean by allowing yourself to open the spiritual eyes of your soul to find spiritual solutions. The spiritual solutions lie beyond the veil of your outward senses and the delusion that they provide you. This may not make sense right now, but after you start to get skilled at implementing and executing the 3 R's, it'll make perfect sense. And in a very short period of time, you can become quite good at allowing yourself to create the actionable decisions that feel right, that inform your actions, that when executed, get you the result you want, good karma. Shortly after you begin the 3 R's process, you do a meditation twice a day. You start to journal. You start to think through your problems. You start to solve the issues that are bringing you stress and anxiety in your life. You come up with actionable decisions and you start to take those actions. Very quickly, you will begin to come up with the answers to these 3 questions, the 3 A's. And the 3 questions are, who am I? Why am I here? And where am I going? Now, society, your family, your upbringing, your communities have all helped you understand who you are in the physical world. But these questions, when answered in your right thinking process, after you've opened the spiritual eyes of your soul, take on a different context from a spiritual perspective, allowing you to truly understand why you incarnated this lifetime, who you really are as a spiritual being in a physical body, why you're here this lifetime, here now at this moment, and more importantly, where you're going. And once you get a sense of these 3 answers, what happens is you have a purpose in life. It's not your life purpose, but you have purpose. And what I mean by that is where you're going helps you better make choices and decisions that feel right, that ring true. When you have completely identified why you're here, and you know for the most part it's about the giving and receiving of love, and more importantly, who you are as a entity, a person, a spiritual being, then life gets very, very interesting. You get out of hell. So your get out of hell free card is created by mastering and starting to do the work of the 3 R's. As you do the work of the 3 R's, you get more and more and more acquainted and familiar with the answers to why you're here, where you're going, and who you are. And those answers are the pathway out of hell, of no-win situations, of damned if you do and damned if you don't. You begin to truly find fulfillment, satisfaction, and value in the actions you take. But more importantly, the actions you take are in service of you thriving rather than surviving. It truly is a sense of freedom to take actions you know that are aligned with who you are, why you're here, and where you're going. And to see those actions produce the results you want that allow you to find that peace, that freedom, that experience of wellness and well-being within your awareness The last of the spiritual tools is the most simple, and its simplicity is what allows it to be so effective, and that is affirmations. And I know you're thinking, oh shit, not affirmations. Affirmations suck. But here's the part that allows them to suck and still work. Once you start to do the work of the 3 R's, right meditation, right thought, right action, and you begin to find the answers to your questions of who you are, why you're here, and where you're going, then your affirmations are about aligning your actions with who you are, why you're here, and where you're going, rather than trying to get something so you feel better. So affirmations are simple, first person singular, already accomplished statements. I am loved. I am happy. I am greatly loved. And these affirmations allow you to create a context for the work you're doing in the 3 R's and in finding the answers to your 3 questions. And it's this shift in context that over time allow you to keep the spiritual eyes of your soul open more and more of the time. So each action here, now, in this moment is taken within a proper context of the work you've done in your 3 R's and knowing the answers to your 3 questions. And what's interesting about affirmations is they evolve over time. So it starts out, I am happy, and it will evolve into something more individual and more personal and more relevant to exactly who you are, why you're here, and where you're going. And rather than a conceptual understanding of what happiness is, you begin to start truly being happy, truly being healthy, being in love, being a badass, whatever it is that expresses you in the most idealistic way. Your assignment this week is to start the 3 R's. So you start to meditate. I want you to do that twice a day. I will leave a link in the description below about the stillness meditation practice. Once you start to meditate, I want you then to get out your journal and start to allow yourself to think through the situations and circumstances in your life, and more importantly, come up with an actionable decision about your health and well-being, about your job and career, about your relationships, about your living circumstance. And it's all going to be overwhelming at first. So take the most important and work through it first. And the most important could be you're in a relationship that sucks and you need to make a decision. You're in a job that sucks, or you don't have a job and you need one and you need an answer to that. Your health and well-being is so bad and you've let yourself go to pot, if you will, that you need to take care of it. And it's through this right meditation process that you allow yourself to begin to truly see things as they are. So allow yourself to do the work. Set timers on your phone, meditate twice a day, get out your journal, think through your problems, come up with actionable decisions, and act on it. And if you did that once a day, you came up with a decision that was actionable, and you took one action a day, that would be 365 actions a year. Where would your life be 1 year from today if every day you took one meaningful action that got you exactly what you want, one step closer to where you're going, completely aligned with why you're here, in service of who you are? And each step of the way, you find yourself becoming more happy, more fulfilled, more satisfied, more you. Those are the spiritual get out of hell free cards. In the comments below, share with me what life would be like if you took 365 actions that got you exactly what you wanted each time, or one step closer. And you knew that you knew that you were on the right path. That is the spiritual journey. That is the spiritual path. That's what happens when you pierce the veil of delusions caused by your outward senses to open the spiritual eyes of your soul to see things from a spiritual perspective. If you like this video, if you found it useful, give us a thumbs up. When you give us a thumbs up, it lets other INFPs, empaths, and highly sensitive people know you found this of value. It also lets Google and us know that we're on the right track. The next thing is I'm going to invite you. Next, I request that you share this video in your other INFP, introvert, empath, and highly sensitive people communities, so they too can see whether or not this is the answer they've been seeking to help them accomplish what they incarnated to bring about this lifetime. If you're interested in a deeper understanding of our spiritual practices, consider joining us live for a Zoom Spiritualist Church service. We have them at 7:30 a.m. and 10:30 a.m. Sunday mornings. When you join us, we meditate, we do some self-healing, we send healing to friends and loved ones, and I share a message with you from our spirit guides and teachers for your highest and best good. Kind of help you with that right thought part of the process. You can get your invite by going to spirit360.org, click the Get Your Invite button, and we will email you instructions how to join us. I look forward to meeting you on Sunday. And until we connect again, I want you to ponder what life would be like when you start breaking free from the fears that stop you.